All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays. They work in your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. How's everyone doing tonight? And welcome to another episode of Between the Ropes on the ASAP Sports Network. Tonight, I am joined by none other than the Dragon Viper.
What's up?
And then he goes by the name of Sarge. So, how you guys doing tonight?
Doing good.
Doing great.
I like to hear that. All right, so the first thing we do on all of our shows, of course, is we have to take care of a little bit of housekeeping first. So, of course, our housekeeping we have to take care of, is we have to throw in a little bit of our sponsors. So we have to talk about our sponsors. All right, so our first sponsor is Suzanne's Paparazzi Bling. It's Suzanne's Paparazzi Accessories.com, and it's $5 jewelry for all ASAP Sports viewers. You got 24 hours, 7 days a week available shopping. And if you're actually an ASAP Sports viewer, all you have to do is type in the code of 160920. All right, that to me sounds like a pretty sweet deal because you got to remember Christmas is just right around the corner. So if you're looking for some jewelry aspect, some bling, you need some of that. That's an excellent time to get it right there. It's only $5. So I'm just telling you right now, that's something you really, really need. Okay, and then obviously our next thing that we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about our T-shirts. So how do you win one of those free T-shirts? Well, all you have to do to win one of those free T-shirts is hop on the network, leave a comment, and then we add up all the comments at the end of the month. And if you are the viewer who actually leaves the most comments at the end of the month, guess what? You become our viewer of the month, and you get one of these awesome ASAP Network T-shirts. Now, if you cannot come on and watch the show because, it might be too late your time or whatever, you don't want to comment for some reason, well, there's always another way you can actually get a shirt too. And in order to get that shirt too, all you have to do is hit up any ASAP Sports Network member and just ask them, hey, I want one of those shirts. It says $25 right there, but it's not $25. It's actually $14.99 plus shipping and handling. And I'll tell you what, that's an awesome deal. Where else are you going to get one of those shirts for $14.99 plus shipping and handling? You're not going to find it anywhere else. That is a steal.
I'm getting mine.
You're getting yours? How about you, Sarge?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. So now how about we hop on to our topics for tonight, which obviously everybody knows that since this is Between the Ropes, our topics that we talk about, we talk about Monday Night Raw, we talk about SmackDown, and then tonight we're going to actually even talk about the TLC pay-per-view that just happened. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to jump into Monday Night Raw. Now, let me throw this out there and say, we want to keep Raw and SmackDown kind of, as short as we possibly can because we have a lot to cover on the TLC aspect. So it'll probably be pretty quick, rapid fire on the Raw side and SmackDown side, but we'll be talking a lot more about the TLC pay-per-view. All right, so with this one, we're going to go ahead and start with the Dragon Viper. So Dragon Viper, why don't you tell us about the first match that happened on Monday Night Raw?
The first match that happened was Styles versus Sheamus, and Styles ended up winning that match.
Styles. And obviously, this is one that we could say that we all saw coming. This was a match, right before the pay-per-view. There's no way that AJ Styles was going to lose this match. It was a good match, though, for a big guy. For a big guy, I'll tell you, Sheamus actually has some in-ring skills. I actually like what he can do in the ring. AJ Styles is very, very talented also, but come on, man. Nobody can compare to AJ Styles in the ring, even if you're big dog Sheamus, who actually has some skills. But AJ Styles, that's why he's phenomenal, the phenomenal AJ Styles. But no shock to me that AJ Styles won this match. I'm just glad that they made it a good match. That was all I was wanting, and it was, and I'm so glad for it. All right, so I'll jump to the Sarge now. What was your thoughts on this match?
Oh, I thought it was a great match. I think they both have great in-ring chemistry with each other during the match. Also, I like how the fact that they brought into coming up with the TLC match coming up, the beatdown with Sheamus, kind of playing that injury storyline right there, making sure that he's a non-factor during the TLC match.
I love it. I love that part. Dragon Viper, what'd you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with you guys. I enjoyed that match. It was a great match. Trying to eliminate Sheamus so that he didn't have any, part in the TLC match by injuring his knee, the way they injured it with the steel chairs, him and Almost, is that his name? Almost. AJ Styles' bodyguard. And so, yeah, I thought it was a really good match.
I still think that regardless of what happened, I still say that Sheamus would have been a non-factor. I don't think that Sheamus would have actually got involved in this match. I truly believe he wouldn't have, but it was okay with the route that they went. I was okay with it.
I think Sheamus would have gotten involved only because of the fact that it would have been nice to see if Sheamus and McIntyre couldn't team up. It would have been nice to see a feud between McIntyre and Sheamus.
All right. Yes, I will say hello. You're saying hello from work, so I'm going to say hello to you. And then one of our sponsors is actually watching tonight, so I'm going to say hello to you. How's it going tonight? All right. So what was our next match on Monday Night Raw?
Next match was the New Day and Jeff Hardy versus the Hurt Business, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, and Bobby Lashley.
All right, Sarge, you can actually go ahead and start this one out.
All right. I thought it was okay match. It was in the middle, pretty much. It played up to Kingston knee injury. I kind of like how the story was flowing with that. And all I can say is it was just kind of like a medium match towards me. I kind of wished Riddle's more involved with some of those matches. Because if Riddle was involved with Hurt Business, let's make it an 8-man tag match instead of 3 or 6.
All right, Dragon Viper.
Now, seeing as how the Hurt Business won, it was just pretty much more of a build-up towards TLC. And for the tag team title match, I agree. I simply I want to see an 8-man tag match, the Hurt Business versus, Jeff Hardy, the New Day, and Riddle. I think that'd be a good match. And it was a pretty good match. And I think they're pushing more towards Riddle and Hardy teaming up. So
I think the interesting thing about this match is I like how it ended because obviously, the Hurt Business was going to be it because they needed that push right before the pay-per-view. You see it a lot before the pay-per-view. My big thing is that I'm looking at this match going, where's the direction of Jeff Hardy going? Because I know he was kind of just thrown in this match, but I don't know where it's going because he had that feud with Elias, and then before that, he had the feud with Sheamus. So it kind of makes me wonder, where are they going with Jeff Hardy?
I think they're trying to figure it out too. I think they're, wanting him on TV and to stay on camera, but they're trying to throw him wherever they can until they figure something out.
All right. So how about we jump to the next match of the night?
Next match would be Lana versus Nia Jax. Winner being, no shock, Lana.
Yeah, so obviously this was a no shock of an ender in the match of Lana here when you look at that. And when you truly think about what happened after the match is over, and they took out Lana, I think we all saw that coming because of the simple fact that we heard rumors that a certain individual was returning, which I don't want to give spoilers yet because we're not on the TLC side of things yet. But I think that was no shocker that they kind of took Lana out to make it look like she had that injury so they could write her off in this match. Was it a good match? I mean, yeah, but it's another one of those things. They had Lana win for pretty much no apparent reason. All right, so Dragon Viper, what'd you think?
Well, I think it was a joke. Like I say every single week, I'm gonna say it again. Lana winning is a joke, not a wrestler. I think with them writing Lana out of the pay-per-view, I think maybe WWE is finally seeing that. It's just my guess. But other than that, I was definitely glad to see them take Lana out.
All right, so the Sarge, what is your thinking on that?
Oh, I have to agree with Dragon Viper. Finally, Lana got taken out at the very end of the match. But one thing I gotta say for Lana, what I have said on the previous show is that she does have one heck of a head scissors move. She did it last week with Jax going into the announce table. That was sold pretty well, and I think that's her go-to move. Again, if the crowd was there, we'll still be hearing Lana can't wrestle. But
absolutely.
Yeah, the match was what 3 months. This has been going on for 3 months. It's been meaningless, and if I would have to grade this match, there's no way I can even grade this match.
Well, maybe that's why they were doing it the way they were doing it with Lana this whole time, is because they knew they wanted to insert Charlotte Flair in this match. And so they kind of figured, we don't want to write off somebody that could realistically be in this match. So why don't we take somebody like Lana, who we could easily take out because she doesn't have that in-ring talent, so we can easily write her off. So maybe that's what they were planning the whole entire time. And if that's what they were planning, then guess what? Excellent. It was a great choice.
Well, my other thought on that is the fact that maybe before they wrote Lana off of the pay-per-view and further storylines, they were trying to finish this storyline so that Lana could get her payback for all those times she went through the table. That's my thought on it too.
Possibly. It could have gone a few different ways. All right. So, Dragon Viper, what was our next match of the night?
Next match was Keith Lee versus Miz and Morrison, with the winners being, of course, Miz and Morrison.
Yet again, you go back to that same thing that it's right before a TLC match, and you don't exactly know what's going to happen at TLC. And like I said, we're not going to spoil any spoilers right now until we get there. But it was another one of those things that you're like, you know what? The Miz and Morrison, again, going up against Keith Lee. I don't know how I really feel about this match. I wasn't big into this match, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that Miz and Morrison could have gone up against an actual tag team, but I'll go ahead, and the Sarge, you can actually go ahead and give me your thoughts on this match.
When Keith Lee came onto the big roster, if you can remember, he was fighting with McIntyre and Orton. He was on top of the roster pretty much right from the get-go. Mm-hmm. I think the creative team kind of forgot about him. I have to agree that let's put the Miz and Morrison against another tag team match. I do like the Miz and Morrison tag team. They're comical. They make me laugh. I don't care. They make me laugh no matter how silly it is. But they could have had definitely another tag team battling.
Definitely. Dragon Viper, what was your thoughts?
My thoughts was, what was the point behind the match besides trying to build Miz and Morrison up for the pay-per-view? There's a reason why Keith Lee's one of those that are going back to the Performance Center to learn more. But yeah, should have definitely had somebody else for the Miz and Morrison to go against. Definitely not Keith Lee.
You nailed it right on the head. That's what they were. That's what they were doing. Just saying. That was the point of it. All right. So, what was the next match of the night?
Next match was Ricochet versus Mace from Retribution. The winner was Mace.
All right, Sarge, you go ahead and can take this one away first.
Oh boy. I don't know how to go on this one. I think with this match, I think with the storyline is going to continue. It's going to continue going on and on and on with Lana. Maybe Rich Roster might join Retribution kind of later on, maybe next year. We could probably still see that, or maybe a special guest, maybe coming to the rescue against Retribution. But after that, other than that, I'm just done with these guys going at it.
You know, it'll get there over time. I just think that Ricochet needs a little bit more of a push because he's definitely a fantastic wrestler, and I do believe that he doesn't need to stay down here the whole time. He needs to be up here. So he needs some better competition out there. All right, Dragon Viper, go ahead and give me your thoughts.
What I think is that match was okay. I mean, even with I'm spacing his name. I'm sorry. But anyway, the leader of Retribution, Ali. There you go.
Mhm.
Even with Ali sitting there saying, it ends when you join Retribution, and I don't see Ricochet joining. I see somebody coming up from NXT or Aleister Black coming to help him, but I do see him not joining and actually getting, his payback with some help.
Aleister Black is the man, and I do want to give a shout out to Justin Walker. He's on. He's saying hi. So, how's it going, Justin Walker? Hope you're having a fantastic night. All right. So, what was the next match that we go to of the night?
Next match was Dana Brooke versus Shayna Baszler. The winner was Dana Brooke by disqualification.
Did you really see anything else happening here?
Nope.
No, I don't think really anybody else saw this ending going any other way but a disqualification. All right. So the Sarge, you go ahead and give me your input on this match.
I have to agree. It was pretty predictable. But with that being said, with Mandy Rose and Dean Brooke being out there, spoiler alert, I wonder who could be Asuka's partner for TLC.
Yep. Makes me wonder, right? All right, Dragon Viper, you go ahead and give me your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, very predictable. Very, very predictable. I saw it happening as soon as the disqualification. I saw Mandy coming down, and then after that, seeing Asuka coming down to help them. Yeah, it wasn't even a very long match. Kind of found it boring, really. But
Yes, Brandon. I agree with you on that too. Brandon Herrera was also saying that the match was boring, and I completely agree with him, and I completely agree with you. That match was boring. All right, so on to the next match. Just in case anybody's wondering, we're doing rapid fire on Raw and SmackDown because we have a lot to cover in the TLC aspect. All right, so Dragon Viper.
Oh, the last match was Riddle versus MVP.
This was still, I mean, it's like the Sarge was saying, he wanted to see Riddle in it more, but against MVP, I don't think that was the right choice because what are they going to do with MVP? He's just a manager as of right now. At some point, I think you'll see him in the ring again at some point, but this match to me it just shouldn't have happened. Sarge, go ahead.
Should have happened. It was awful. I mean,
right?
No home show for the pay-per-view. What is WWE thinking? Guess what? They're not thinking. The original Bro rocked his opponent, and end of story. No grade. I cannot even keep going on this one.
All right, Dragon Viper.
It was horrible. Riddle won, obviously, and to make it a main event match, that was not right. It was unbalanced. It was an unbalanced match. No reason behind it. None.
All right, so Now we're going to jump to the SmackDown side of things. And when you look at SmackDown this week, we all know that there actually wasn't a lot of matches this week. A lot of it was promos and backstage stuff. And that stuff we're not going to talk about because we have a lot to cover for TLC, like I was saying before. So, the Sarge, go ahead and give us the first actual match that actually happened on SmackDown.
All right, the first match was the Street Profits versus Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, with the Profits defeating Roode and Ziggler.
Yes, which if you remember at the end of this match too, how they ended up winning, it was because Roode tried to get the roll up with the tights, and then he couldn't do it, and then they ended up doing it. The Street Profits ended up getting the roll up on Roode with the tights, and of course Ziggler and Roode afterwards were like, "Oh, did you see that?" You know, getting after the referee. Then the referee starts screaming at him, "Get out of my face!" So it was actually a good match, but the ending was just kind of weird. Personally, I thought the ending was weird. All right, so Dragon Viper, go ahead and give me your thoughts.
Well, my thoughts, especially for the it was for the tag titles, and my thoughts just, great match for all four competitors. I see it as them, Roode and Ziggler fighting to try and get another title shot against them, and I feel that when they do, they will actually win it.
I think we all knew, though, that Ziggler and Roode were not going to win. I think
SmackDown.
We're all in agreement there. All right. So, the Sarge, go ahead and give me your take.
Given that Ziggler and Roode lost again, I think the feud is not going to last any longer. But it was a cheap victory. They should give one more shot, I think. But I like the pairing of Roode and Ziggler. Anybody you put with Ziggler, he's going to put them on a next level.
All right, go ahead and give us the next match of the night.
All right, the next match, we got the Riot Squad versus Billy Kay and Tamania, with the Riot Squad going on top.
All right, you can go ahead and take it away.
I'm still not sold on Billy Kay. I don't think I'll ever be sold on Billy Kay. I think she's more on a comic storyline as a character as of right now, since she left the Iconics. But let's give the Riot Squad more better matches with better tag teams. I do like the Riot Squad. Even when they came in the first time, I thought they were awesome stable.
Yeah, I actually liked the Riot Squad when they were a stable. I was sad to see that they broke up, but this was another match too that I'm like, man, I wish that they would take on somebody else because they're better than this. They actually deserve some true competition. All right, Dragon Viper, go ahead and take it away.
I have to admit, I agree with Sarge when he asked, what was WWE thinking? And obviously they're not. Splitting up the Iconics, Billy Kay and Peyton Royce really haven't been doing much since they split up. And I think that match with Billy Kay and Tamina as a team was a joke because of Billy Kay. I think they're just trying to throw Billy Kay around to see who would best fit for a tag team with Billy. So, and so far, everybody she's tagged with hasn't, successfully won. So, I think they're trying to figure out what to do with her. I think the Iconics should get back together, but that's my opinion.
That would be iconic. Okay, so all right, so the Sarge, go ahead and give us the next match of the night.
The next match of the night is Otis versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
With Big Otis getting the win. So I think it's kind of interesting how Chad Gable is his I'm trying to think of the proper word here. Oh, his motivator. He's his motivator. Because if you remember last week when they lost, and Gable's like, well, yeah, I was just showing you, what not to do. So, so it's kind of interesting. I think this is kind of an interesting route that they're going with Chad Gable. They've changed his character so many times. It's crazy. At some point, they're gonna have to figure out what they're doing with them. I guess I've been a fan of Otis for a little while, but I still have not figured out exactly the route that they're going with him. But I was glad he won on SmackDown. It was still a fairly good match. It was a decent match. He won it with his belly flop off the top. It was cool. I liked it. I liked the ending to it. All right. So Sarge, go ahead and take it away.
Man, I don't know what they're doing with Otis. I mean, since they broke up Heavy Machinery, Tucker's no longer being seen whatsoever on TV. The pairing with Chad Gable is so weird with his "don't listen to me" type coaching style. I think Chad Gable could be the heel of this whole relationship. I think they could put anybody else in that spot. I feel like the artist was kind of in a wasted spot during this match.
All right, Dragon Viper.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what they're doing with Gable and Otis. Again, the way I'm thinking is they're trying to come up with something for Gable, because I agree they've had so many different names for him. They've, done so many different things with Gable. They're trying to come up with something that works for him, as well as, with Otis. I honestly don't think Otis works by himself. I don't think he's good enough to be by himself. He should be with a tag partner or somebody with him. But I didn't really care for the match much. Didn't understand what the point was behind it.
All right, the Sarge, what do we got?
Oh, with the next one is we got Belair versus Bayley, with Bayley defeating Belair by pinfall.
I'll tell you what, I actually like this feud. I really, really do, because both of these divas are very, very talented. And Belair is definitely that up and comer that you could give her a push at any time. Bayley has obviously been on top for a very, very long time. So she's somebody that you could give a push basically at any time also. I like this rivalry, and I hope it actually continues to go for a while. At some point, I kind of wish that they could be in a triple threat match for the championship at some point with Sasha Banks, because could you imagine that match? That would be a heck of a match. Just saying. That would be a fantastic match. All right, Sarge, go ahead and take it away.
To go further on that one, Sasha Banks has to win at least one pay-per-view championship match, doesn't she, as a champion?
You'd think so.
Yeah. So with that, I love the pairing, and I'm kind of jealous of Belair's hair, as you can tell. I'm kind of missing some. I think it was a good. I think they flow together. They have great chemistry. What this match was the main event, and it delivered. And I thought it was a great match.
Yeah, which I kind of like now how they're starting to give a little bit Divas matches some main event pushes, because I like the equality now with that. It's not always to where a men's match gets the main event. I like it when they throw in a Divas match in the main event part. All right, Dragon Viper, what was your thoughts?
My thoughts were, I don't understand this feud. They have something starting, I hope it grows to, for there to be a point. But right now, in my opinion, I really don't see one. Bayley's a main event, star. Belair, I feel it's too soon for her to be in the main event. I didn't like the match at all. I thought it was too soon for Belair.
What? All right, well, I'll tell you what. We will agree to disagree on that, my friend, because I will definitely disagree with you on that. I think Belair is right there. I think where she needs to be, but it is time. It is time to start giving her a push, because she is the real deal. All right, so that is the end of SmackDown. Now we can actually jump into what we've been waiting for all night to talk about, and that is the TLC pay-per-view. And let me tell you what, the way that they kicked off this TLC pay-per-view was phenomenal. Just that was why I put that in quotes, because phenomenal. So you had AJ Styles versus Drew McIntyre for the championship and a ladder match. So the interesting point of this is that we were all wondering something in this match. We had all been talking about it pretty much all week. We said, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Is The Miz going to cash in his Money in the Bank? Guess what happens? He cashes in his Money in the Bank, but the crappy thing is, like, when he cashed it in, I'm sitting there going, yes, The Miz is finally cashing it in. He's going to win that belt. And then they just pull it out from underneath me, and it ends up being a triple threat match, and then Drew McIntyre retains the title, and then my night goes shot again because, as we all know, I'm not a Drew McIntyre fan. I liked the aspect of the triple threat match. I thought that it made for good TV on the pay-per-view, but I hated that they did not put the belt on The Miz or AJ Styles. I wanted it. I wanted it so bad, but it didn't happen. All right, Sarge, go ahead. Take it away.
I enjoyed the match. It was entertaining. I loved it. I did not like it when The Miz cashed in, to be honest with you, because if you have the bank, you're supposed to be cashing in when the guy is down, beaten after the match, after the champion's down. Now he falls into the realm of John Cena, Baron Corbin, just not being able to win with the briefcase. I liked how Owens got in the match. He was a beast taking that chair shot, showing no pain, watching it shattered, just like a fly hitting the wall. Just shrugged it off.
So let me tell you, let me ask you this. When Miz cashed in his Money in the Bank, how many of you actually wanted him to win? Because I'll tell you right now, I did. I wanted him to. I was waiting for it so bad. I'm like, yes, it's finally time. And then they took it away, and I got really sad again. So Brandon Herrera is actually saying that he kind of wanted The Miz to win. And I did too, because The Miz is another one of those guys that I feel has been truly disrespected for so many years, because they're not putting the belt on him when he truly deserves it. All right, so Dragon Viper, go ahead and
I was real glad to not see The Miz win it. I was glad that he didn't win it. I was hoping for either AJ Styles or Drew McIntyre. I was kind of worried about. I was kind of worried that The Miz was going to win it, but I was just glad he didn't, and it was a really good match.
I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. All right. So, Sarge, truly though, like, who were you actually going for in this match?
I was going for AJ Styles. I cannot bet against AJ Styles. He makes everything great. But one thing I do want to say is I would have rooted for The Miz if he cashed in after the match, just like the typical briefcase. Just cash in right after McIntyre's down and beaten after he won. Just cash in there in that time. But I was going for AJ Styles.
Yeah, you know what? And I actually like Brandon's take on this one too, though, because he said that they could have had The Miz run out and climb right up the ladder as they were brawling and win the match. So, and what's funny about this too is me and the wife actually see different sides on this one, because she actually hates The Miz and I am actually a fan of The Miz. I actually like him. I like how he is on the mic. He's fantastic on the mic. It's awesome. All right, so after that match, because if I had to grade that match, I'll tell you, I actually give that match a B plus because I actually thought that was a pretty good match. So our next match of the night, though, is actually the SmackDown Women's Championship match between Sasha Banks and Carmella. This match. The win that you're talking about that Sasha Banks needed, guess what? She finally got that win that everybody was saying that she needed in her title run at a pay-per-view. She finally got it. Was I disappointed? I don't really know because I'm not really a fan of Sasha and I'm not really a fan of Carmella. I've never been a fan of Sasha and I've never really been a fan of Carmella, so I'm not really sure how I thought about this match. Carmella is another one, too, that can't really wrestle. She showed it before, but she actually stepped up a little bit tonight and actually showed that she had a little bit in her, not a lot, but a little bit. And at some point I thought maybe she will. When she got the super kick twice on Sasha Banks, I was like, oh, it's going to come again. Sasha's going to lose at a pay-per-view again. I seriously thought it was coming. But then it turned out she kicked out and then she ended up winning the match. I wouldn't say it really was surprising, but not the way that I wanted it to end. Dragon Viper, you go ahead and give me your thoughts.
My thoughts on this match, I was actually surprised. I thought they would try and push Carmella since she came back, especially, because of Corey Graves. But, yeah, it surprised me that Sasha actually won. I'm glad Sasha won, but there was a little surprise to that, that they didn't push Carmella enough to give her that title tonight.
All right, Sarge, what'd you think?
Oh, I was happy that she won. I'm glad that the Mandalorian training that Sasha Banks got, yes, she is in season 2, that she got, it paid off. She finally won that pay-per-view match, and I hope she has a long reign. It is overdue for her.
Yes.
I think Carmella is not a bad wrestler. She has more skill than Lana, but she needs to get away from having those managers. It's just going to drag her down, keep dragging her.
But that's been her MO forever. Basically since the very beginning, she's always had some kind of manager, somebody with her. She's always had it, and to be perfectly honest with you, I think she always will. I don't know if it will ever change. So we actually have a comment. So I will say hello to Sheila because this is her first time watching the show. So welcome, Sheila, and I hope you're having a good time watching the show. Okay, so our next match of the night was actually the Raw Tag Team Championships, the New Day versus the Hurt Business. We'd been saying at some point that the Hurt Business was going to win the belts, and guess what? They finally did it. They finally got over that hump, and they won the belts like we've been talking about forever. I thought that this was a decent match, but with that being said, I'm hoping at some point that means that this feud is over. I really hope they start feuding with somebody else now because I think it's truly time. So, Sarge, go ahead and take it away and tell me what you thought.
I know, I have to agree. Finally, New Day has been knocked off. I'm glad to see that the Hurt Business got the titles, but I gotta say a but with that win is when Alexander actually tagged himself in with that for the win. How is that going to play out? Will that lead to tension with the Hurt Business? I don't know.
All right, so we actually have a comment that says, boo, I hope they lose them soon. I know that you're not a fan of the Hurt Business. I completely get it. But here's the thing, that a lot of WWE fans, the problem is that guys like us who enjoy, the title being kind of jumped around a lot, not seeing it on the same tag team. The thing is with tag teams like like the New Day and then the Usos for a while, tag teams like that who were constantly winning the belt all the time. It is good to see the tag team belts going on another tag team other than the New Day or the Usos, or like when the Bar was the tag team, guys like that. It was good to actually see the belt go on somebody else. So Dragon Viper, go ahead and give me your thoughts on that.
My thoughts on that match. Match was good. I don't think that I really cared for Alexander, tagging himself in to win that match like he did on Raw. I think there's going to end up being some kind of tension, some kind of argument between him and Benjamin, because I feel that WWE is trying to push Alexander as one of the top members of the Hurt Business alongside Lashley. Yeah, the right winners won, and good for them. That's awesome.
I will probably tell you, though, that my biggest disappointment, because we were talking about it, if you remember in the chat, we were talking about it, and we were asking if New Day was going to split. I thought that this might have been it, and then it ended up not being it. So I'm just curious, were you guys kind of disappointed that you did not see a New Day split at this pay-per-view?
Yes.
How about you, Sarge?
No. I'm not surprised that it didn't happen. I was surprised it didn't happen on SmackDown before they broke up with Big E, because Xavier Woods was having issues with the team earlier.
No, I was saying, were you sad about it? Not, were you expecting? Were you sad it didn't happen?
No, I wasn't sad. I like the New Day. They bring freshness and they should.
Yeah, but it's another one of those tag teams too that have been around for a very, very long time, and at some point it's like one of those things that you have to change it up or it kind of grows stale. It's kind of one of those things, and I think it's kind of borderline to where it's starting to get on the aspect of to where it's almost becoming stale, to where they need to change the way they're doing things with the New Day, turn them heel or something, because you got to change it up or people are going to get tired of the New Day. All right, so jumping away from this match, the next match of the night was the match that we were talking about on the women's side. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, and then you had versus Asuka, and then everybody was like, oh, who's her mysterious partner going to be? Well, as it showed on there for a while, it actually showed, Billie Kay was trying to get into the match and telling Asuka, I'm your one that should be in there. And I think we all knew that it wasn't going to be Billie Kay. We had already discussed and said, we truly believe it's going to be Charlotte Flair because she's going to be coming back after this injury. And guess what? Guess who it was? Charlotte Flair. And I think we all saw it coming. It was no surprise to us at all. And I don't even really think, to me anyways, it was not a surprise that Asuka and Charlotte won the belts. Once Charlotte came out, I'm like, oh yeah, they're going to win the belts. There's no way they're going to lose to Nia and Shayna at this point. Because what I see happening is now that they had dropped the belt, I can see Nia and Shayna growing a little tension and having a feud, and then they end up feuding against each other to see who's going to face Asuka for that championship. But don't forget, Charlotte could be in that mix too, because she's always in that mix because she's Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
But how was the match? I mean, it was a decent match. If I had to grade it, maybe B-. It was nothing special, but I think the biggest part of it was that Charlotte Flair came back. I think that was the big part of the match. All right, the Sarge, go ahead and take it away.
I totally have to agree with that one. To make this match at least a B-, it was having Charlotte Flair there. Even the team of Asuka and Charlotte, I think it's awesome. And I can't wait for the story to develop with those two. And if you really think about it, Charlotte is now a Grand Slam champion. She has won all the championships in the women's division, and I think that was awesome. That's all she was missing. But I'm excited to see how they're going to run this storyline.
All right, Dragon Viper.
I'm glad to see Charlotte back. I wasn't, thing about predictability in the matches is that it just makes that match a lot less exciting or entertaining. And because it was predictable that Charlotte was going to be Asuka's partner, and it was predictable that Asuka and Charlotte were going to win the tag titles. It wasn't very exciting of a match. I was just glad to see somebody, alongside Asuka that can actually wrestle and, was worth getting those titles. So.
All right, so I think we're on the same page in this match that I think we're all happy that Charlotte is back. It's always good to have her back, and I know people kind of are on the same way to where they say they grow tired of Charlotte, getting that push all the time and winning whenever she wants. I completely understand that, but when you have talent like Charlotte Flair and you can bring in that draw and you can sell, when an audience is allowed to be there and you can sell tickets because of who you are, that's why it's so big to have her back in there. And so Brent Herrera says WWE needs to form a stable with the Queen of Hearts, and Queen of Spades, Flair, Nat, and Baszler. I don't know. It'd be interesting, I guess, to see it in that aspect. All right, so our next match of the night was actually for the Universal Championship, and it was actually Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens, but I'm going to say it wasn't only Roman Reigns. It was Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Kevin Owens. But I give Kevin Owens a lot of credit. Kevin Owens is actually one of my favorite currently in the WWE now. I'm glad that he finally got a title shot, but I was kind of disappointed in how this match ended, even though I kind of expected it ending the way it was going to end because kind of knew, Jey Uso was going to get involved. And as we saw, he was getting involved pretty much this whole match. That's why I said it was Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Kevin Owens. But there was a lot of great spots in this match. You could clearly see Kevin Owens was giving it all. You were seeing people get put through tables and ladders this whole match and getting hit with chairs. This match was excellent. This match to me was probably the match of the night, which is the crazy part because I'm not even a Roman Reigns fan, but I think what made it so great is that Kevin was basically trying to take out both these guys in the match. So personally, that's what I liked about it. And that's what made it such a great match, and that Kevin Owens gave it his all and was saying, you're going to have to kill me in order to win this match. And then the weirdest thing, it was all going great until the end of the match, and he gets a low blow, and then he gets choked out. I'm like, after all this, you're going to give the dude a low blow and then get choked out and end the match like that? So I would say that was the only disappointment in this match, was him losing the match like that. I didn't like that. I think it could have been a better finish. All right, Sarge, what do you think?
Oh, I agree. It could be with a better finish, and also with this match, I would have to say these type of matches need to be to close the show. That is my opinion on that one. I love KO as a face. He was a great heel, but I'm liking him better and better as a face. It was a great match. It was exciting. It was a good way to represent the SmackDown side of the TLC because AJ Styles and McIntyre, they lit up the place from the beginning, and it was great. I loved the intensity of this match.
Dragon Viper, what'd you think?
It was an incredible match. I mean, it was very brutal, especially with all the tables, chairs, and ladders they used. It was. I saw that Uso was gonna actually turn on Roman, which didn't happen. I'm disappointed about Roman winning again, because I can't stand him. But it was an amazing match. But I agree with Ace. The ending was terrible. Just to choke him out and win that way over anything else, that was kind of stupid. So a match for me. If I were to grade it, it'd be an A to me.
I mean, honestly, I'll tell you right now, I do believe he gets a rematch. I think it's coming. And I think that there's going to end up being some kind of stipulation to where it's going to be to where nobody can get involved. It's going to be KO versus Reigns, and there can be no outside interference, because a lot of times that's what you end up seeing. But I didn't hear the Sarge mention the part at the ending of the match. I didn't hear you talk about that. You heard it from me. You heard it from Dragon Viper. I want to know, were you okay with the way that the match ended?
No, I wasn't. It was an easy way out. It was a cop out for WWE to get out with. You should at least go through like 3 tables or something to end it. That's what you should happen, not being choked out. Come on.
Oh, absolutely. Because I was actually waiting. The other thing I was hoping for in this match was I was hoping for 2 things. Number one, I was hoping for maybe Jey Uso to turn on Reigns and you know, give him a super kick and cost him the title. Or number 2, what I was waiting for was that I'm like, we've all heard for the longest time how the build-up for WrestleMania, everyone's hearing that WrestleMania is supposed to be The Rock versus Reigns, right? So the other thing I was waiting for is because Reigns and Jey Uso are relatives of The Rock. I was kind of hoping to hear, you know, if you smell, and The Rock comes out, you know, and costs Reigns the match. And then afterwards, when, you know, like the next night on Raw, when Reigns goes, you know, why'd you do it? The Rock's like, because this is not the Uso way. This is not the Samoa way. We do this on our own. I know it's far-fetched, but because of what I heard, you know, them trying to build up between The Rock and Reigns at Mania, I kind of thought this would have been an excellent time to do something like that.
I want to add something else on that. If it does happen, if it possibly does happen where The Rock has some kind of involvement with Roman Reigns and Roman Reigns match, I actually kind of see it at the Royal Rumble, because that's one of their bigger pay-per-views, and I see The Rock actually showing up then.
Potentially, yes. Potentially, because when he ended up wrestling John Cena for the second time for the title, if you remember, he actually won the title at the Royal Rumble, and then had a match. I think it was at the pay-per-view right after that, had it, and then went on into WrestleMania, which I believe at that time. Why am I drawing a blank of what that pay-per-view was? The pay-per-views have been changed so many times. I don't even remember what that pay-per-view was at that point. But I know he had a match at that pay-per-view right after the Rumble, and then beat Punk again, and then went on to Mania. And you know the rest was history when he ended up losing to Cena at Mania. All right. So then we go into our main event of the night, which I'm kind of surprised that they actually put this as the main event. Randy Orton versus The Fiend. It's kind of interesting how they had, you know, fire all the way around the ring. I like the concept of it, but it was kind of a weird match in a way. I just wasn't, to be perfectly honest with you, I wasn't really feeling it. I don't know if you guys were the same way, but I just wasn't feeling this match. I was trying to stay involved in it. I really, really was, but it wasn't my thing. I think this match could have been a lot better than what it actually was. So, Sarge, you go ahead and take it away.
I would have to agree. I wasn't into this match. Again, you heard my little rant earlier on why the previous match should have been the main event. With the Inferno match, I thought the fire has to be closer to the ring, not around the barricade and everything else. You have no fans. I mean, come on. But with that, I thought it was kind of cheesy when they did the rocking chair, and with Orton there, and he just got out of there just in time. That was very predictable. It was a weird match, and they called it the Firefly Inferno match, I thought I would rather want to see Bray Wyatt instead of the Fiend because it's the Firefly. They're using a Firefly name in there, and have the Fiend somehow popped in at the end. But again, it was a weird match, and those two did pull it off. But I got nothing else to say for it. I'm kind of like wasn't really into it.
No, I was personally disappointed with the outcome though, because I seriously thought that the Fiend was going to win. I didn't think it was going to be Orton by any stretch of the imagination. But then Randy Orton won, and I'm like, that was kind of a curveball because that was the one thing that I actually didn't expect. Pretty much most of the outcomes of the night, though, you could almost expect them all, except this is the one that I was like, wow, this is like the biggest wrench of the night. I was not expecting Randy Orton to beat the Fiend in this Inferno match. I don't know. Personally, that's how I felt. Yeah, and Brandon Herrera saying and also no Bliss. That was kind of crazy too, because I thought that at some point, Alexa Bliss was going to get involved, and she never did. I was waiting for it, and it just never happened. So Dragon Viper, you go ahead and give me your thoughts.
My first thought when I hear Inferno match is, back in, the 90s when it was Undertaker versus Kane. And, I thought it'd be some kind of, similar type of match that, they had. But it was arranged differently than what I'm used to in an Inferno match. It wasn't the greatest. I mean, I did like it because, Orton is one of my top guys. But I agree, it was just completely weird with the ending. I expected Bray to win. No Alexa Bliss. It was just really weird.
Now, you talked about how the Undertaker and Kane had the Inferno match, but don't forget too that when Bray Wyatt first came in, he was actually in an Inferno match with Kane also.
Yeah.
So the Inferno match to him is nothing new in terms of that, but I was still kind of disappointed in this. So I know Brandon's saying, what's next for the Fiend? I can tell you right now, I don't think this feud is over by any stretch of the imagination. I feel like this feud just started now, and this feud's going to be going for, I don't know. I'm going to say it's going to be going for at least a couple more months because this is just the first match. So, the point is Orton, we all see, it's coming to where Orton's going to be like, oh, I killed the Fiend. I lit him on fire. I torched him. He's ashes now. And then you're going to end up seeing something completely different now to where Orton and the Fiend are going to go back at it because the Fiend's going to end up showing back up again, and Orton's going to be like, no way. And, one of those normal things that we always see.
Especially with the Fiend.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Sarge, overall, if you had to give a grade on this pay-per-view and wrapping up the pay-per-view, what was your overall thoughts, your biggest takeaway, and your grade?
The biggest takeaway was probably what Brenda Perez said is, what are they going to do with the Fiend since he's been burned? I thought it was kind of symbolic, though, that Randy Orton would burn down Bray Wyatt's house. Now he actually burned Bray Wyatt. But for this overall TLC match, I would have to give it a high B+, low A-. I thought it was a well-put match. I kind of want to see some of these tag teams start to unravel, kind of like the Hurt Business, and like you said, I want to see, maybe I might be intrigued with the New Day. So I thought it was a really good put together show.
All right. So Dragon Viper, the same thing as I just asked the Sarge here. Your overall thoughts, your biggest takeaway, and let me know. Your grade.
My overall thoughts, some ups, some downs, even a few predictability matches and spots. But overall, I'd have to give it a I want to say B plus. Especially the TLC matches for both the Raw and SmackDown tag titles, or heavyweight titles, sorry. And the fact that with the Hurt Business actually coming out with a win tonight, that was also great. So yeah, about a B plus.
And you know what? I would say that for the most part, I completely agree with you. That overall, to a certain degree, I thought that the pay-per-view was pretty good. There was a few matches that I could have felt that they could have done differently in that aspect, especially at the endings of ones. Like I was saying with the Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns match, they definitely could have ended that match differently. Maybe the whole AJ Styles, Drew McIntyre, Miz thing, I think they could have done that a little differently. Overall, though, it was a solid night. But I think my biggest takeaway is WWE is still at the point to where it's still predictable. We can all see what's coming. We all know what's coming. And at some point, I think the WWE is going to look at this and be like, you know what? People are predicting this way too easily, and maybe it's time to change it up. And we've all heard now that WWE is even talking about possibly, a little bit going away from that whole PG era and kind of starting to go into a little bit more attitude era and adult stuff, which I truly agree. You know what? It's time to do that because your ratings are down because it is the PG era to where they're saying, we don't want blood. We don't want this. But your highest ratings ever was when you had all that blood and everything. So maybe that's what it's time to go back to. I think at some point we're going to see that again. Maybe soon. I don't know. But I guess we'll find out. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and I'll start with Sarge. And Sarge, you have 30 seconds. Whatever it is you want to say before we go ahead and wrap it up, you got 30 seconds starting now.
All right, guys. Like from the beginning of the show, share, like, share, comment to win that free T-shirt. Even though with Christmas around the way, can't beat the price either. $14.99. It's a great price. This is a great company. ASAP. I have enjoyed my time here.
All right, Dragon Viper, you got 30 seconds.
All right, I just want to say, for one, WWE had, better, go back to their PG-13 or whatever rating that they are going to, because this PG rating's not going to work, and if they continue, they're going to lose more viewers, and it won't be good news for WWE. Second thing I want to say is thank you for watching. Continue to watch every Sunday. Share, like, comment. I love this network and I love doing this show. And if it keeps going, then we'll continue doing this.
All right. So we're going to jump in before we call it a night. We're going to jump into our last not really our last ad, our last sponsor of the night, which is actually Anchor. So for those of you who wanted to watch our WWE show tonight, but you could not because maybe you were working and you're like, you know what, it's too late and you want to catch it at a later time. Well, here's the great news. All you have to do is go to Anchor. You can download the app. And one thing is, though, you cannot watch the live version, so you cannot actually see us. But the good thing with Anchor is that you can actually download the audio, so you can hear us talking, and you'll know exactly everything we said. Or even if you're like, you know what, I don't want to really hear about Raw, I don't want to hear about SmackDown, but I want to hear about TLC. Well, guess what? You can still do that. All you have to do is fast forward through Raw, fast forward through SmackDown, and jump right to TLC, and it's right there on Anchor. You can hear it all. And then also, if you're looking at us and you're like, man, those guys, they have their own show. They talk about this, and I want to do it. Well, guess what? Anchor can do that too. Anchor can actually get you started on your own podcast. It'll allow you to talk about anything, not only wrestling, not only sports, but you can talk about, books, movies, whatever you want. You can start your own podcast. Anchor's a great way to do that. It helps you to get started. It's super easy and it's quick. It'll help you out along the way. All right. So I hope everybody had a fantastic night. Don't forget that tomorrow is Monday and tomorrow night is Real Talk. And then after Real Talk, of course, comes on after the Monday night game. We have our Monday night show, which I do believe that the Sarge, I do believe you're on that, correct?
That is correct, sir.
All right. So the Sarge is actually on the Monday night post game tomorrow. So I hope everybody has a fantastic night, and we will see you next week on another episode of Between the Ropes. I am Ace. That's Dragon Viper, and he is none other than the Sarge, and we are signing out. So I hope everybody has a fantastic night.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports.